Hey guys, with the release of Pokemon ZA, we've been seeing a mini resurgence of games in this genre. I love monster collecting games that's not just Pokemon. This video is gonna be a if you like this, then you will like that kind of video. Or if you want to try something that is not Pokemon but has the same kind of aura as Pokemon. So hopefully you can scratch that itch of monster collecting games. And in this video, I'm gonna show you 5 of those. First, I want to start off with the granddaddy of them all, and that is Shin Megami Tensei, specifically Shin Megami Tensei 5. But if you guys didn't know, the Shin Megami Tensei series did the monster collecting and hunting and taming thing first. I know it's hard to believe, but it didn't gain mainstream success because of the type of game it was. It's about demons and stuff, and you know, that didn't really gel well with the West at the time. So it didn't gain as much popularity as Pokemon did. And even Pokemon was kind of scrutinized when it came out as, you know, this demonic thing. But even though it has the same monster taming as Pokemon, these games cannot be more different. Shin Megami Tensei games are all about punching gods in the face in a post-apocalyptic world, summoning demons from different mythologies, and kicking butt with your team of demons. And I'm picking Shin Megami Tensei 5 because it's more accessible and it's a good start in the series. You don't have to play the previous Shin Megami Tensei games to hop on it. It released for the PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch twice. So what is Shin Megami Tensei 5 about? Well, basically, you are a normal Tokyo high school student until, whoops, you are transported into the post-apocalyptic wasteland called Didat. I probably mispronounced that. And in this desert blasted version of Tokyo, there is a battle that is occurring. And what is that battle? The war against demons and angels. So yeah, it's very high stakes. And then the protagonist gets fused together with this demonic power and you become the Nahubino. What is a Nahubino? Well, it's basically a demon with a human with technology fused in together. And in short, it gives you a lot of cool powers. And your goal is to survive and hopefully change the world to whatever mindset you see fit. If you want a more chaotic world, you could go through that. If you want a more peaceful, tranquil world, you could go that route. Or you could just, you know, not care and do nothing. This game is a turn-based RPG, but it does have its own unique quirk called the press turn system, which is basically you gotta hit the enemy where it hurts, and if you do, you gain an extra turn, but your enemies could do the same, and it's a good way to keep you on your toes and to keep the battles very exciting. Now, a lot of people say Shin Megami Tensei games are hard, especially in contrast with Pokemon, but it's honestly not that hard. But that being said, it's not easy either. You really gotta master the different elements of the game. Now, this takes us to your party. Now, your party is made up of different demons that you could capture throughout the world. And this is where the monster taming or collecting comes in. So, instead of catching monsters like in a Pokeball or anything like that, instead you have to negotiate with the demons. When you choose the demons, it initiates a whole string of statements that you have to respond to. Some ask the most random questions, which is actually pretty hilarious. The demons might ask you for money, rare items, or your HP, or to just flatter their ego and you have to keep complimenting them. This could be somewhat controlled with the phases of the moon and different items, but it's mostly how they feel. If the negotiation does good, they will join your party. But that's not the only way you could get new demons. You could also use the demon fuser, which is basically you get 2 different demons and then they come together and you make a new demon. Each demon has their own types, kind of like Pokemon: fire, water, ice, electric, light, dark. This is where a lot of the similarities to Pokemon are more apparent when it comes to the types, the different demons, and just collecting them throughout the world. But what's different is it's not your traditional kid-friendly journey. It is about post-apocalyptic world-ending stakes, and a lot of wisecracking demons. So if you want a monster taming experience that's something completely different than Pokemon, Shin Megami Tensei is probably your best bet. And get this, guys, it has voice acting. I know, a shocker. Alrighty, the next game is my current obsession, and that is Digimon Story Time Stranger. This game took me off guard. I got it on a whim because I was just like, you know what, maybe I'll try it, and I just ended up loving it. I'm currently streaming it. Editing Mandy here. I just wanted to say that I did beat it on stream, and it was fantastic. This is my first Digimon experience. I haven't played anything Digimon or seen anything Digimon, so it's all new to me. me, and I'm just enjoying it so much. But of course, Digimon gets compared to Pokemon a lot, mainly because of the name, but also because of its premise. Now, Digimon has to be the second most popular monster tamer or collector type game. And fun fact, Digimon was made as a male counterpart to Tamagotchi. It's just because of a coincidence and bad timing that it got lumped in with Pokemon, and that's why a lot of people keep calling it a rivalry between the two when there really isn't one. Now, Digimon Time Strangers is the latest game in the Digimon story series, which started with Digimon Cyber Sleuth. Now, what is this game about? So you play as a agent who is working for Atoms. It's this big secretive agency tasked with investigating strange anomalies, which turns out to be the existence of Digimon. So instead of Digimon being in the world and people know about them, most humans don't even know that Digimons are a thing, in this game at least. And your mission leads you to a massive event. Like massive, you get thrown into space-time and then you get kicked back a few years. And this takes you into the worlds of humans and Digimons. Digimon has a classic turn-based mechanic system, and you being the super special secret agent has the ability to control Digimon. But not only that, you could digivolve your Digimon or de-digivolve if you want to. Now, in the lore of the game, Digimon come from technology. They're more mechanical and technological in nature. And instead of throwing a Pokeball or negotiating with demons, in Digimon, you could get new Digimon by converting them. So the way conversion works, it involves encountering and defeating the Digimon multiple times until your scan rate for them is high enough. Once you reach 100% or 200%, which is ideal, you can scan for the Digimons and bring them to life. Most of your Digimon start off as rookies, and then they could branch off into champions or ultimates. And then Megas. There is a lot of deep detail when it comes to the Digimon. It goes really deep. And I'm just having a blast seeing them all for the first time. Some are really cute, some are cool, but some are kind of weak. And unlike Pokemon, you can evolve to different Digimon, not just one Digimon. And oftentimes, the rookie form looks nothing like the champion form. I'm just having a great time seeing what comes out. Now, there are different types in the game. Besides the elemental attributes, there are viruses, data, vaccines, and it works like a triangle system. Vaccine beats virus, virus beats data, and data beats vaccines. And there's also the personality feature, and there's a total of 16 personalities. I myself haven't really delved into the world of personalities. I'm just like, this sounds good for this one. All right, you do you. And you want to make sure that you have a balanced party, not just a party full of vaccines or datas. That's probably not going to get you really far. And I had to learn that the hard way on stream. But anyways, so far I am loving Digimon Time Stranger, and while it is my first rodeo into Digimon, I am honestly enjoying it, and I want to go play Cyber Sleuth right after Time Stranger. It is so good. Now, the differences between Digimon and Pokemon are basically Digimon has a better story and characters, whereas Pokemon, they're still struggling with that. And also, Digimon has voice acting. I'm just gonna say that. Now, on to the next one, Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, I would put 1, but I like 2 better. The Monster Hunter series is known for monsters and hunting. But with the Monster Hunter Story series, instead of just hunting monsters, you get to collect monsters too. And that's where it gets its monster taming from. And while the story does involve high stakes, it's really chill, and it matches a lot like those Saturday morning cartoons kind of vibe, with a little bit of extra stakes in there. You get all your fan favorite monsters like T-Rex, Xehanort, but now you can have them as best friends instead of just killing them and carving their carcass for parts. I oftentimes forget how dark Monster Hunter could be. But what is the story of Monster Hunters 2? Well, basically, monsters begin to go berserk all over the place, so you and your feline companion, Navarro, must protect your fledgling Rathalos and uncover the truth behind the prophecy that's making the monsters go berserk. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is a turn-based JRPG where the combat is a lot like Digimon, a rock, paper, scissors kind of vibe. So we have power, technical, and speed. Power beats technical, technical beats speed, and speed beats power. And you and your monsties have to choose an attack type that will correctly counter your opponents to deal massive damage. And you can also target specific monster parts to break them, and then you could take the material. So how do you get your team of ragtag monsties? Well, you actually have to steal it. So you have to go into the den where its mom's at, defeat the mom or sneak around the mom to get the egg, and then sprint for the exit. Oh, and as you're rummaging through the eggs, Navarro will give you an indication if the egg is special or not. And the more unique the egg is, the more stat boost it will get upon hatching. And hatching is literally the best because you get to see the egg crack and then boom, you get to see what comes out. And even though I basically knew what most of my monsters were, it was still exciting. And Kizu is one of the ugliest monsters ever, but he's kind of cute in the Monster Hunter story games. I don't know, something about that little derpy smile. So Monster Hunter Stories has to be one of the more unique takes in the genre, mostly because it's not trying to be Pokemon, it's just trying to be something different from Monster Hunter, which is its main series. And guess what, guys? This game has voice acting. I'm just putting that out there. Now for the next game, World of Final Fantasy. Now you guys might be confused, but it is a monster taming game, and a good one too. It's a side game to Final Fantasy, kind of like Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now the story is kind of crazy, honestly. I'm just gonna give you a synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything. So you play as the siblings Lan and Reen as they awaken in a mysterious empty town called Ninewood Hills, with no memory of their past. Of course, the only clue is a strange fox-like creature named Tama, who informs you that you are Mirage Keepers, which are powerful masters who can control the monsters in other worlds. And then this mysterious woman Emma enters the scene, who tells them to travel the world of Greymore, so they can reclaim their memories. Greymore is a world populated entirely of Linkins, which are adorable chibi-fied versions of classic Final Fantasy heroes and villains. You get Cloud, Squall, Lightning, Tidus, and a dozen other heroes all cutesified. Now here's where the monster capturing thing comes into play. You capture various mirages, which takes form of a familiar Final Fantasy monsters. Each enemy has a different condition that you must take advantage to capturing them, making each encounter its very own puzzle. So this game has a traditional turn-based gameplay, although it is a bit wacky. This unique mechanic is called stacking, which, as the name states, allows you to stack mirages on top of your character's head for various effects, usually in the order of large, medium, and small. When you do this, the HP, stats, and abilities all combine into one character, making it to the combination that you want to be in. Though there are risks to stacking, so if you get hit by a powerful attack, your stack could become wobbly and even fall. And then that leaves your stackable creatures in a very vulnerable position. So to get the optimal stacking ability, you must, stack them accordingly. So initially, the world of Final Fantasy is very different than the other ones on this list, especially when it comes to stacking. It's pretty funny. It's a very quirky and fun little game. And also, guys, there is voice acting in this game. Now the last one is Dragon Quest Monsters. Now the Dark Prince is the most recent game in the Monsters games, but it's basically a side game from the traditional mainline Dragon Quest games. Although some of the games do have to do with the mainline games. Like Monster Quest The Dark Prince is actually a prequel / retelling of Dragon Quest IV, starring the main villain Passaro. Cursed by his father, the King of Monsters, Passaro is rendered unable to harm any monsters directly. Furious and set on a path of revenge, he decides to find a loophole. Well, if he can't directly harm monsters, why doesn't he take monsters to harm other monsters? So then he becomes a monster wrangler, and that's basically where the monster taming comes into play. So he can have other monsters fight for him. Now that's how you do things. That's how you slay. But jokes aside, there is a lot to this plot. I'm just putting it very simply here. And there's also other plot lines like Pesto's mom. Everyone has mommy issues. Dragon Quest Monsters is a turn-based game with a very unique Dragon Quest twist, and that is the tactics system. The game is designed for you to set general tactics for each monster and then let the NPC do its thing. For example, you could set your healer to focus on healing, your main damage dealer to show no mercy, and a support monster to weaken the enemy using debuffs and buffs. So all of the strategy stuff happens before battle. As for getting monsters, you obtain them throughout the world, and you use the scout command to recruit them. This action makes your party members flex their power to try to oppress the wild monsters. And if their strength and aura attracts the other monsters, then they will join your party. And no, I'm not making that up. This stuff is so unserious, it's really funny. Although, this game does take a page from Shin Megami Tensei, and that's in the synthesis system, which is basically you could take two monsters, put them together, and get another monster. The new creature inherits the skills and stats from both of the different monsters, and there are over 500 monsters to mess around with. So move aside national decks, and the last thing is, this game has voice acting. I know. Just putting that out there. So that is it for the list of monster taming, battling, collecting games out there. There's not a lot in this genre, and honestly, I feel like there should be more. If you guys have any that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite from this list. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, where is PalWorld? Well, I didn't want to add PalWorld into this list because the game is in early access, and I don't recommend anything that's in early access. So that's why I didn't put PalWorld, and plus I haven't played it either, so there's that. So if you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you're not yet subscribed, and hit that hype button if you want to hype it too. You can follow me on my social medias in the description down below. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and as always, play a good game. Peace.